Hello and welcome to 6th week. Now this video is going to be quite quick because I have loads of things to do this week. So this week in political theory we were studying political obligation, so when are you obliged to follow the laws of the state? So there are arguments such as consent theory, when you consent to the laws of the state, thus you are obliged to follow them. Or there are other theories such as fair play, when you join an enterprise and because you have joined that enterprise you agree to abide by the rules of the enterprise. Or you receive benefits from an enterprise, such as when you're in a state and you receive benefits and perks from, I don't know, having a police force or having an ambulance service or a fire brigade. These are all examples of how you benefit from the state, thus you should feel obliged to follow the laws of the state, such as taxes to pay for these services that you're benefiting from. But then there's also the counterpoint in that just because you're obliged to do something doesn't mean that you should do something, or rather it doesn't mean that you ought to do something. But then there's another point, why should you feel obliged to do anything at all? In fact, why ought you feel obliged to follow the laws within the state? Say for instance there's a law that you just disagree with, I don't know, it might be the NHS, why should you pay taxes towards that specific policy and that specific institute when you don't believe in it? There's no real convincing reason why I ought to do anything. If I really wanted to say stop eating, then I ought eat, but I could stop. Now that does not necessarily entail that you should stop following the rules just because you can't find a convincing reason why you ought to do something. Which means we won't have chaos in society because there is this little caveat that we can't seem to fill in the dilemma of political theory. So say you're driving on the left-hand side of the road, which is the correct side of the road. I mean, you don't have to follow that, but if you did, it'd be incredibly dangerous, which is why you typically do and don't break that rule, because you might have a car coming the other way and then you might die. And in Japanese politics this week we were studying social welfare and industrial policy. In social welfare we're looking at how Japan combats its aging population and its decreasing birth rates. And in industrial policy we're looking at the model Japan used to be able to make itself an economic superpower within the 50s, 60s, 70s and 80s. However, that was not the most exciting part of my week. This was the most exciting part of my week. Now on the weekend I went back home to London to celebrate the 25th wedding anniversary of my parents and to celebrate the 20th birthday of my friend. And once again, happy anniversary and happy birthday. And then on Sunday I went to Arsenal Football Stadium to see these people. They are a band called Muse and they were amazing. And before that there was Dizzy Rascal, who was actually pretty cool too, but Muse were just kind of mind-blowing. They had a giant light bulb, they had pyrotechnics, they had an amazing set and played the majority of songs I really wanted them to, and Matt is just amazing. Yes, so that has pretty much been my week. I've already got to go. However, before I go, shout-outs for these people who correctly guessed that this was a horse cake. I Love Rock and A7X, FB Spin, Miss Blue 98, Turmoil, Belligerent Style, The Magic Mango Tree, The Dave Machine 24, Kinda Correct by Looking Up Down, Charlotte Wright because she showed me what Azorce was, Harjot Athwal or
Harjot Athwal,
Brady Naren. I shall see you on Sunday, Simon. Goodbye.